What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Mr. Straight Facts Show. I'm Mr. Straight Facts. Today, Don Lemon pled not guilty. And what else was he supposed to do? I mean, he didn't do anything wrong. I mean, being a person who goes out and reports on people, a journalist, uh, is not something that you can just, oh, you're a journalist, let me just take you down. The whole point of it is to get people in the media afraid of contesting Donald Trump. That's what the whole point is. And I'm proud of him, Don Lemon, not allowing this to like phase him. Now, I don't know what's phasing him behind the scenes. I pray for your strength, brother. I don't know what's going on behind the scenes, and you just being strong, or you just the way you really feel. But regardless, when I see you on that camera talking about how fighting for everybody's rights, kudos to you. Also, I know you know because you got lawyers. I'm just saying, uh, you win this, you can sue your ass off. See how Donald Trump's suing for what? Some crazy amount, so many tens of billions of dollars or whatever, because they falsely accused him. Yeah. So get that lawsuit up as soon as they throw this shit out. Get that lawsuit up for them hunting you down, and the other women who aren't, doing this professionally. You're doing this for protest. You're not journalists, I don't believe. At least there's one other woman that is a journalist. You too, ma'am. Get your lawsuit up. Be ready to take him down. And I understand it's government money, but go after him. You know what I'm saying? You got to get government money. Go ahead. Do what you got to do. They spending it somewhere else anyway. But I would sue if I was you, because there's no way in hell you go after me and I wouldn't sue. What's up, Vera? I see you, Dennis. So that happened today. I wanted to spend time today kind of going over the timeline because, we all are going after uh, Jeffrey Epstein, but there's so much more. And of course, we all want to get all these people. You got to go, who developed this animal, this demon I call? Who developed him? I mean, as far as we know, this dude lived in some off suburb area, grew up kind of poor, and then becomes hella rich in his 20s. And it's like, how? You had no education. He went to NYU, dropped out, okay? And it says he was born in Brooklyn, 1953. And I guess a middle class family in Coney Island where he lived at. Excuse me. He went to a Lafayette High School. Then briefly, he went to Cooper Union and NYU, but never earns a degree. He doesn't have wealth or influence, and at that time, nobody knew how he even got into the social circle to get close to wealth. But he didn't fashion him. He did fashion himself as a little playboy, as you'll see some of his the way he dressed, his garb, the way he flaunted himself around. That was from 1953 until 1974. So he's like 21 years old. Out of nowhere, 21, Epstein gets hired as a teacher of math and physics at this Dalton school, which he's talking about. And I'm going to actually show the school. This is a school, Dalton School in New York. He got hired at this prestigious school with kids of special strengths, mental strengths, and I ain't saying like they're fucking superheroes, but they were privileged children, but they had skill sets in certain things, whether it be acting, whether it be math. They were more of the smarter of the richer kids. And so he gets this job. Now, we've talked about how he got this job to some degree. And we have to introduce the person who helped him get there. That would be one, Bill Barr's father. That's Donald Barr. Donald Barr brought in a 21-year-old kid with no education, no teaching skills, and allowed him to teach children, elite children, and passed it off as basically he's like an eccentric headmaster of the school. It's like, I just want to try something different. Let's get some people who are off the grid a little bit and bring them in. No, I call bullshit. I call bullshit. You had some kind of connection to this man. There's no way you just brought some rando into a building and said, let me get an interview for you. Okay. And there's no way that him as some rando would just go and say, you know what, I could teach at this school and then go apply like there's a job open. No, these are all social circles. Somehow y'all got together and y'all was roaming in these social circles. And it was said that he got referred by somebody to Donald Barr, Bill Barr's father. So they're working at this school with this teacher not having any education. Now, there are students, they've done research on it. There are students that said they liked him. He was fun and jovial and kind of, somewhat kid-like himself. Wasn't like a traditional teacher. And then there were other kids that said all he would want to do was hang around with the teenage girls. They would just flock to him and, hang out with him. And he enjoyed it. Now, he was there maybe a couple years or so. But in because it says he joined in 1974, I believe, to 1976, 2 years. Well, within those 2 years of Donald Barr hiring him, right, Donald Barr, put out a book. Donald Barr was a writer, right? He put out a book in, I believe, 1973. It was published on September 17, 1973. Now, bear with me. I go with this stuff for a reason. But 1973, this book came out. The name of said book, and we're going to look this up, is called Space Relations, a slightly gothic interplanetary tale. It was a science fiction novel. Okay. I don't know if y'all heard of that. Well, that was the name of his book, Donald Barr, that he released in 1993 on September 17th. That's when it was published. Oddly enough, after his book was published, 5 months later, he was let go, resigned, saying that basically the board was trying to be, of that school, were interfering with the way he wanted to teach these kids or so forth. So he decided to resign. Okay. But 5 months after he released that book, he automatically wanted to quit. Now, what happened in those 5 months? Don't know fully what happened with him specifically. But we do understand that book that he wrote. It featured themes of sexual slavery. And pedophilia. It featured having sex with teenage girls. The book depicts rape and sexual enslavement of young people, specifically teenage girls, for the purposes of entertainment and breeding. Exactly what Jeffrey Epstein did. He used it for he did these women for entertainment, and he bred them. The exact thing that Donald Barr wrote about, somehow Jeffrey Epstein lived that life. I don't believe in these types of coincidences. Not at all. Donald Barr's father writes a book about interplanetary shit. And in the book, he depicts rape and sexual enslavement of young people, specifically teenage girls, for the purposes of entertaining and breeding. And 5 months later, he resigns from his position over teenage children, teenage girls, citing in a newspaper article that they were interfering with his way of teaching, but never mentioning the book that you wrote that depicted kids like you would be teaching getting raped for purposes of entertainment and breeding. It's no coincidence that a pedophile was hired by someone who writes about pedophilia in a space gothic book. So to me, those two kind of connect, especially seeing as how Jeffrey Epstein ended up doing exactly that. Exactly that. No different. He ended up breeding girls and raping them, teenage girls. Okay. Bill Barr, not Bill Barr, his father, Donald Barr, had to leave the school. It doesn't show him ever really getting any other job after this. He wrote a bunch of books, worked in some administrations, Reagan, another racist, but I don't know if he's racist, but hey, racist. He worked for Reagan to some degree. But yeah, no more schools for him. No more heading educational things for young children, teenage children for him ever again. And he was the headmaster, which means he rose to that position. And they gave it to him because of his prestige to be teaching these kids. But no school would hire him ever again after that. Okay. You can read into it what you will. It doesn't miss me on the fact that Jeffrey Epstein died in jail with that man's son being the head of said jail. Bill Barr, Donald Barr's son, we all know what he looks like, but if you just in case you don't, this be his son. Jeffrey Epstein died while his son was the head of the jail that he was in. Don't know what it means. It just, to me, it's a lot of fucking coincidences. I don't know about you, but in my lifetime, I have not had as many fucking coincidences as these people seem to have around a pedophile. I haven't had that many. I'm 55. These people have had these coincidences their entire fucking life. Since 20, Jeffrey Epstein, 21, he got into Bill Barr's family's life through his dad. Now I think people should be investigating Bill Barr and going into the past of Donald Barr to see how these two got connected. Because just some rando, uneducated dude, he thought he was a playboy that was broke, jumps into rich people's circle without getting something done for them. That shit just doesn't happen. And let's say it did. How many damn times did it happen for him? More than once? That doesn't happen. This man struck the lottery multiple times in his life, back to back to back, with the same type of men. Rich, powerful men who got their position by fucking people over, not getting fucked over. But somehow this 21-year-old comes in and starts fucking all these people over to get to the top. And his whole deal is to blackmail people, according to Howard Lutnick, who said he only met him once and he felt that's the way he made his money because he didn't do nothing else. Later finds out he got into a multi-million-dollar deal with Jeffrey Epstein after he had that luncheon with him. And he said his boat, it turns out to be a yacht. He even tried to break down his riches by saying, I was on a boat having something with my kids and then we left. Not a boat, a yacht that he got off of and supposedly had lunch with his kids in tow and his wife in tow with Jeffrey Epstein on his vacation. None of that shit matches. But it's what he said. We can't believe what he said. He already lied. Because think about it. Why would you have to lie about that? If it was really nothing. And now he's like, I remember all the details, but I can't remember why I met him. Or is it that whatever you did with him, you can't mention? Because it was probably dirty, in which you guys do to keep your money. Maybe you can't tell us what you did. It may not even be in this realm of pedophilia. You just might have been doing some dirty shit that you can't mention because that could probably put your ass in jail. I have no idea why I met him. You went on vacation and disrupted your vacation on your little boat / yacht. And you don't know why you did that? Why you just went off the vacation? But you can remember you went on vacation. You can remember you went in tow with your kids. You can remember your wife was there. You can remember that your nannies were there, but you can't remember why you brought all these people in a fucking yacht to this man's island. You can't remember that at all. Shit don't make no sense. So we got Jeffrey Epstein at 21 years old going to work for Bill Barr's father, Donald Barr. Donald Barr's father writes a book called Space Relations, a slightly gothic interplanetary tale in 1973 science fiction novel. 5 months later, he no longer works for the school with children because that book's literally writing about having sex slaves that are teenagers for the purposes of entertainment and breeding, rape and sexual enslavement. He no longer gets hired for a school ever again. He writes books and works for Republicans like Reagan. Bill Barr is the head of the jail when said man being Jeffrey Epstein, finally gets arrested and people think he's going to do his time. He's got all this information. He ends up dead in his cell. Oh, and on top of that, another man who is considered to be in the same circle as Jeffrey Epstein, a part of his co-conspirator, he too went to jail overseas pertaining to Jeffrey Epstein and that their slave thing, the sexual misconduct shit. He gets arrested in another jail in another country, and guess what? He ends up dead. By what? Hanging. The same fucking way. Oh, did they match up? Did they call each other and say, yo, man, we get caught? You get caught, just hang yourself in the cell. It was that their getaway? Because it's strange how they both ended up the same. Ended up dead the same way, in jail, pending, going to hell, basically, for them for the rest of their lives because of the shit they was doing. But both of them end up dead inside the jail cell. I'm just saying, coincidences are mother. Because these are some odd coincidences. Their lives are filled with them. And I'm asking you, how many coincidences in your life has this happened to? Just one domino after another just affecting your life in your particular circle. It's rare. Damn near impossible to be something that like this happening left and right in their family. Bill Barr, Donald Barr, Jeffrey Epstein, earlier years. So now that we got to that level of we know what Bill Barr, his father, was up to with his book and got released, left on his own recognizance. I don't believe he left on his own, but that's what they said. And you know how these rich people roll. They don't want to have any kind of like stain on their school because they have these kids paying crazy amount of money to go to that school. So they hide shit under the rug, like rapings and shit like that. Don't let nobody know. They do it under the ground. Here's $3 million. Shut it up. We don't want that shit to happen. Do it all the time at prestigious schools, prestigious colleges, all the time. So you can't get me to believe that this scandal situation happened there and they didn't just like try to hide it under the rug. The man wrote a book about teenagers whom he was over, teenagers, the headmaster of a teenage school, and talking about making them slaves for fucking sport, entertainment, and breeding. The exact same thing Epstein ended up doing in real life. That's why I don't believe any of this shit is coincidence. Donald Barr, in my mind, can't prove it. He's dead now. Donald Barr was a part of this damn ring. Bill Barr, I don't know if he was in it, but he knew what his dad was doing. Jeffrey Epstein, big time. Don't know how he got in it from the very beginning. But being 21 and getting into this type of ring and him coming from a poor place, more than likely somebody did it to him. Then for him to leave. Oh, we didn't get to how Jeffrey Epstein left Dalton High School, or Dalton School, New York. It's in Manhattan, I believe. Well, Donald Barr was let go on February 1974. I don't know the exact date. In 1974, 5 months later, after releasing his book. The following school year, 75, 76, that's when Jeffrey Epstein was let go of the school. The school ended up hiring a guy, I think, called Peter Branch, I believe. Peter Branch is the person who fired Jeffrey Epstein. If you listen to some of these MAGA talk about it, they say that Jeffrey Epstein was fired by Donald Barr to make it look like Donald Barr let this fool go because he was doing some craziness. No, Donald Barr got let go because he was validating the craziness that Jeffrey Epstein would soon be the head of it through his book, fiction-wise. So that ended up being a situation where Jeffrey Epstein was fired by Peter Branch because he said he did not live up to the school standards. He was a poor teacher. The kids weren't learning. That was their reasoning. So he got fired after that 75, 76 school year season. And soon after, he was hired by the father of one of the girl students at the Dalton School. See, they don't mention her name because she was a minor at the time. It won't tell you. You can reverse engineer this shit on your own. I'm not going to mention it, but you can reverse engineer this shit on your own and look up Alan, not Greenspan, Greenberg with the ERG. Alan Greenberg at the time was the head of Bear Stearns at the time. As you probably don't seen it before. He was the head of it. He was close to being the head. He would soon be the CEO. But he is the one who got smitten with Jeffrey Epstein somehow and offered this huge referral. Like, oh, he should be able to come over here. You mean tell me somebody who just left the high school, elite school, where Alan Greenberg, his daughter went to the school. Now, I don't know about you, but if a teacher got fired from a school, and I know there had to be, because there still are right now, like words going around. The gossip is that he messed with one of the girls there and the parents ratted him out and therefore he got fired. That's the word on the street, right? That's the T over there from what they said. But what I looked up, the one teacher, the headmaster that came after him, Peter Branch, I believe, decided that he wasn't good for the school. That could be political speak. Don't know. But the idea is this. If I am going to refer somebody, put my name on the line for somebody, I'm going to do my homework, my due diligence. Why would I refer somebody who may come to work and rape one of the people and then it's my fault? Because you brought this animal into our space, right? Nobody refers somebody they just don't fucking know, right? Do you? I wouldn't. Because again, why would I refer you if I don't know you really? So how did Alan Greenberg know Jeffrey Epstein? The only connection they had, as far as we can find, is his daughter. His daughter went to that school. And what they say is some social circle, the rich social circle, messing it all up. Somebody in that particular realm referred him to Alan Greenberg. Now, we all know that Bill Barr's father, Donald Barr, wrote a book about children, about grown men, raping and sexual enslavement of young people, especially teenage girls, for the purpose of entertainment and breeding. Jeffrey Epstein ended up doing that in his real life. So what did Alan Greenberg do? Because it seems like this is a whole circle of like possible, if it ain't fantasizing pedophilia in I could say Donald Epstein, Donald Barr fantasizing that in a book, Epstein doing it. What's up with Alan Greenberg? How did you just get smitten with this 20-something-year-old kid that has a record of getting let go, fired from a school because he wasn't capable of doing the job? He didn't progress according to the headmaster. According to the gossip, he fucked with one of the kids, and one of the kids' rich parents said, you got to get rid of him, and that's what's the reason why. So you got gossip of him fucking with children, and you got the head person saying he's just not qualified for the job, and then you hire a dude that's never did anything with stocks at Bear Stearns. Same MO. He has no education in it. He knows nothing about it. And you're going to hire somebody with no merit. Strange. So Alan Greenberg, I'm going to put a face to these people. He's gone too. That's Alan Greenberg. He would later lead Bear Stearns through good times and bad, but he would lead it. But this was not the stopping point, see. He only worked here, oddly enough, for a few years as well. 2 years at the Dalton School and getting fired instead of, woe, it's me, I don't have an education, and looking for a job like the rest of us and probably, delivering pizzas or doing whatever you got to do to get by. No, he goes from Dalton School, where he goes from obscurity to an elite school teaching without an education, to going to work for Bear Stearns, where people who have gone to college, people who are great at at investing, people who went to business schools, all that shit, raised around stocks and bonds. Their family's wealthy. This man got somebody's job. And within a few years, this man moves up from making like $20,000. He was making $200,000. Just insanely wealthy at that time, going from a little bit of nothing to having money and a reputation for something. But here's the thing. He didn't have any licenses to trade stocks. Makes you scratch the temples. Like, how are you working at a place that trades stocks and bonds and Wall Street, and you have no licenses to do the job, no qualifications, and you never get licensed to do this job, but somehow you move up? And the odd thing is that they really don't have, that we can find, any real clients this man had over that entire span, except for one, a billionaire by the name of Leslie Wexner. He would soon leave Alan Greenberg and Bear Stearns and start working for Leslie. They call him Les Wexner. Soon after starting to work for Les Wexner, he conned this man out of power of attorney. Now, we're going to give you a little understanding who the fuck Les Wexner is, okay? What he owned at the time. How this man was a billionaire back then, just insanely rich. And you're sitting there like, you don't get rich being a dumbass. I just won't believe that. I'm not going to believe that. So this man founded Bath and Body Works, Wexner Foundation, The Limited, something called the Study Group, and he was also Victoria's Secret. Abercrombie and Fitch, something called La Sensa, a bunch of retail organizations, and a billionaire. He went through the big stock crash, right? His child, I'm pretty sure, at the time when it happened. But I'm pretty sure his family recognized the poverty and shit, not unless his family was super rich to begin with. I don't know. He attended Ohio State University. Mm-hmm. You're telling me this businessman is the dumbest businessman on the fucking planet? How do you have all that shit and some little snotty nose, big shirt wearing, baby teeth looking bastard come into your house and say, hey, sign over your money to me, hand it over? And this rich dipshit did it. You can't tell me this man is a dipshit coming a billionaire. If anything, I can say he may be an evil bastard, but there ain't gonna be no dipshit in him. Not at all. You don't make this kind of money without fucking somebody to fuck over. Okay? This shit ain't happening. You ain't making that kind of money without fucking somebody over. And you're trying to tell me that this man got suckered by Jeffrey Epstein out of his money? And then when he signed over his money for this dude to do whatever, here's the thing. This man is a businessman. Made some deals, I'm sure. Jeffrey Epstein never had a degree. You trying to tell me a rich man didn't vet a man taking his money? You didn't vet him? Because if you had came up with a vet, you would have realized he had a shady little past. The rumor mill, he was fucking with little kids at Dalton School. The professional version that we get to see, he was not up to par and got fired because he wasn't good at it. Couldn't teach. Well, that would help since how you never fucking taught anything in your life. You didn't even like being taught. He went from, I don't like teachers, to becoming one. And then right after that, he's not without a job. His circle got him a job at another place. He didn't go without a job. Went from one to the other. Crazy coincidences. He gets over at Bear Stearns and immediately starts to rise. How? He's not educated in stocks whatsoever. Don't have any degree in it. There's no record of this man even breaking open a stock book in his life. There's no record of it. Not to say it didn't happen. I'm just saying he was hanging out, talking to kids about math, high school kids, gets fired for sucking at being a math teacher, and then goes to work for Bear Stearns. Is he a math wizard? And if so, what deals did he make that made him the wizard? Everybody's got a story. Oh yeah, he did this and he made a, whatever. He figured out the stock trades before that. Something. There's no legendary thing that he's done as a person in that industry. Just like Donald Trump said, he's a fucking enigma. You have no idea what the fuck he does. But these rich people do. Leslie Wexner said, I don't know what he does. Bullshit. You didn't turn your money over without doing some investigation on this person. You can't tell me you didn't have an investigator. This man got married in 1993 to an Abigail S. Koppel. Okay? You know who did his prenup? Jeffrey Epstein. When did Jeffrey Epstein know anything about prenups? Where is he on prenups? I mean, did he get it off a LegalZoom? How the fuck? This dude has no career for shit, education for shit, and somehow he writes this man's information. How does he know? How does he know? I don't understand this. And why would you trust somebody to do that? What return did you get to keep this man on to do what he was doing when he obviously had no experience in doing it. The only obvious thing from the outside looking in is that he was providing something to you that you can't talk about, immoral or illegal. Now, see, if you dig up information about Jeffrey Epstein, there's variations about what he did. You got Howard Lutnick saying, he took pictures of you and when you was at his home, which we've seen some pictures that he has taken of people at home, and put cameras in his Kleenex boxes and had his security, everybody, and said the same thing happened with Donald Trump. Now, what else did he do? Well, the other information is he was your go-to guy to get rid of bad news. So if something happened, like you did something wrong, this man had the connections to just get rid of it, to squash it. You end up, doing something illegal, go to Jeffrey Epstein and figure out how the way to get you out of it. That was one of the things they said he was capable of doing. Again, no degree in this. This was just strong arming people and bribing people to get you off the hook. And you had to pay a hefty fee. Can you imagine how much dirt rich people were doing to make this man a fucking billionaire? Do you understand the dirt that rich people in this country were doing to make him a billionaire from it? So these people connected to him, they're not connected to him just because he was the best businessman in the world. They were connected to him because he was a pedophile, for one. He was selling sex trafficking all over the world, not just the United States. And he was the guy to go hide your shit. I don't care what it was. Stock trading, you did anything illegal. This was the dude to go to. Those are the things that are said that he did, if you look it up. There may be more, but those are the things that I found. And these people were doing business with him. Howard Lutnick is doing business with a dude that has the reputation of rich people, you fuck something up, go to him. If you want child, pedophilia, go to him. If you want torture videos, go to him. That's what he was known for. Even Donald Trump said in 2006, it's good you guys caught him because everybody knows what he was doing with these kids. He knew it. Everybody included him. Did he do anything to stop him? He got caught and Donald Trump tried to get himself out of the whole situation by ratting on him. And if I become a person who rats on him, they won't look at me. And that bet was kind of true. Him saying something to the detective, or to the police chief, took Donald Trump off the radar to some degree. But he's on that radar now. Maybe not law-wise, but public opinion, oh, fuck yeah, he's on that. He doesn't want that. That's why he's always telling everybody it's a hoax. Let's get past it. Then these pictures come out of a young girl. And I didn't even, I on one of my sites, I think it was Instagram maybe, I put it on one of my stories. It's like back to back to back, these different videos that I was saying today was just like a plethora of people with documentation of the Epstein files. And some videos and pictures. There's one of a picture of a child standing on a stairwell, carpeted stairwell, with some kid dress shoes, clear little dress shoes, like princess dress shoes in there, and her shirt pulled up. You don't see anything because it's all blocked out, and her panties pulled down, and she's taking a picture of somebody looking at her, a child. That was in the Epstein files. Child. It makes you want to punch somebody in the fucking throat. I promise you. Just randomly walk up to somebody. You like Trump? Yep. Bow. Right in the throat. What did I do that for? Just you deserved it. That's what it makes you feel like if you see this shit. But yeah, you see this every day. Every day. Today I saw a bunch of those. I put them on my stories. I'm not going to put them on my live, but you can go look at my stories if they're still up. I think it's 24 hours for stories. I'm not really that strong on Instagram and all the others, but you know. And people are like, you know, I don't put them up. I get the moral aspect of not putting them up. I really do. I get it. Um, but America needs to see not the redacted ones, non-redacted ones. They need to see the redacted ones. They need to see it because then they can see how sick these fucking people are. Everybody attached to them allowed that. Everybody connected to them after 2006, 2008. Look at those pictures, what was going on. I saw there was a politician, some woman, a white woman, and she said something to the effect of, as a Republican, at the beginning, before the documents came out, I thought, like, what's the big deal? Stop right there. Right then, ma'am, you're a horrible human being. The entire time these women have been talking about they were molested as children. These women talking about they've been grabbed by the pussy. These guys have talked about, you know, them being raped and stuff like that, and even mentioning Donald Trump's name and some of these things. We had allegations that you know, Kate Johnson, I believe, was raped by Donald Trump and Jeffrey Epstein. And then you say, because you haven't looked at the files yet, what's the big deal? But now that you've looked at the files, you're like appalled by it. I'm like, where the fuck was your morality when you knew this shit was going on? And it was even allegations should have your antenna up. Allegations should not have you protecting people. It should have you like inquisitive to look into it and like, wait a minute, this is highly fucking detailed. There might be some truth to this. Maybe we should ask questions. No, automatically call the person who made the allegation a liar. Never asked the person she made the allegation for. One of them was already dead, but never asked the other person any questions. Did you ask the girl, what does his unit look like? That right there would have told us something. If she had told us, oh, it swings to the right and it's got this and better and then pull his pants and it looked like that, it's a ringer. I mean, why would she know that? None of that. None of that. They didn't try to ask any of those questions. They tried to negate the person who went to courthouse, got a lawyer, and wrote down what exactly happened to her in detail that she could remember. And she's not the only allegation. These people are demons. Thank you for that. Imagine your daughter, thank you for the donation for $10. Imagine your daughter standing behind Pam Bondi during that shit show. MAGA's turning on Trump because of that circus. Yeah, I've been seeing Joe Rogan clips. I'm gonna go back. I'm trying to go watch the entire thing either tomorrow or whatever. I try to only when people tell me to I go watch that stuff because it's, you know, I don't know. I used to like Joe Rogan, and then when he became MAGA, I was done. And when he not even became MAGA, really, when he started becoming like against COVID and shit and taking horse pills, I was like, you lost me, bro. I don't know what you doing. You know, that's like somebody telling you got cancer and you just start taking aspirins because some Republican idiot told you, take aspirins, dog. It'll help you with your cancer. I'm like, no, that's for heart, right? Oh, no, it's cancer. And then you believed it and went on your show and spread it to like millions. Oh, yeah, take these horse pills. They work for me. No, you just didn't get affected by it and you waited that shit out. That horse pill didn't do shit to you. It was for horses, fool. I mean, it's crazy to me. the idea that somebody like that people would follow, somebody who would literally act like he know what the fuck he doing, never went to school as a doctor, don't know shit about it, and didn't trust the main doctor who helped find cures and issues for AIDS. Okay, AIDS, the shit, the epidemic that was killing everybody in the 80s. Joe Rogan knows. And a doctor who helped cure that, the doctor who gave a fuck about them so much that he sat there as they were dying and wept with them, Dr. Fauci. And these fuckers who believe in horse pill medications are calling him something disrespectful. They're fucking idiots. Just idiots. And then they put in a dude that sounds like he's constantly tied to some kind of electrode or some shit. Robert F. Kennedy Jr. Just blah, 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 blah. He sounds like he's attached to a fucking washing machine, a dryer when he talks. That dude. He's the head of something. He probably wouldn't be the way he is right now, whatever the problem he's got, if he listened to a fucking doctor. He probably tried to solve it himself by taking horse pills. He listened to a doctor, he probably wouldn't be doing that. These home remedy bullshits he probably took and blaming doctors for it. But, yeah. You got Les Wexner is the one who made this monster rich and says later on, 2006, 2007, somewhere he let go with Jeffrey Epstein. It's crazy how that connection of you letting go of Jeffrey Epstein came at the point in which he was getting arrested for pedophilia, but in this situation, child prostitution. It's crazy how all that went on. You never noticed. This man's got your money. He's buying up islands. Where's the money coming from? He's doing everything. He got your money. And you just still cool with him. And here's the crazy part. After he says he broke up with Jeffrey Epstein in 2006, 2000, whatever it was, right? Close to that era when he was being arrested. Guess who didn't break up with Jeffrey Epstein and kept asking him about stocks and shit like that and was still cool with him way after he was charged for pedophilia, not pedophilia, but he was doing pedophilia, but he got charged for a lesser crime. That would be his wife. Les Wexner's wife, Abigail S. Koppel, was still cool with Jeffrey Epstein after she knew that he was a pedophile. But Les Wexner didn't know nothing. He was just having sex with a woman that did. Quite strange, huh? Coincidences. What a coinky dink. And all these things, to me, add up to suspicion. I don't trust a fucking word none of them say. Why would I trust you when you don't lie left and right? When you don't gave rise to a demon and then you act like you didn't know it was demonic? Donald Trump met up with this man supposedly in the 90s, early 90s, meaning Jeffrey Epstein. And they were two birds of one feather, or two feathers of one bird, whatever you want to fucking call it. They hung out thick as thieves. I heard one lady, she's a lawyer today on MS Now or some shit, and I like her. I like this lady. She's always, spitting facts about legal shit because she's a lawyer. But they had mentioned that Donald Trump was in these Epstein files a million times, and she was like, to be fair, a lot of people were searching DON, but DON will also bring up the words don't, right? So that's not his name. So you kind of look that up and you get the millions. It's like, but that's the million one. But the one where he's in it 30-something thousand times, he's mentioned, yeah. And she was like, well, it was just a thing where Jeffrey Epstein was a sycophant of Donald Trump and he was always talking about him. No, they were boys and he was always talking about him. He was mad at him for certain things. He was talking to his brother about him. They were talking shit about him because he was fucking with them and that Donald Trump was taking deals away from him and doing shit that he shouldn't have been doing because it was Jeffrey Epstein's game that Donald Trump was trying to take over. Meaning like the house in which Michael Wolff was talking about that broke them two apart when he was buying a house for $30 million, doing the dirt they normally do, buy a house and then resell it for a shit ton of money because these other countries that they were working with and washing their money, they would buy the house and then sell it for a crazy amount. 30 million, sell it for 60 million. They were doing this thing. That's why you got Donald Trump owing New York $500 million, because this man would depreciate shit, then appreciate. Well, what is that all about? That's about money laundering. You say something's less, you buy it for less, you sell it for more. Way more. Nothing appreciates that fucking quick. You tell me you bought a house for $30 million and a couple years later you sell it for $90 million? Ain't no house appreciating threefold, bitch. That shit ain't happening. That shit ain't happening. You had to find Jesus on that plot. Muhammad or somebody, a bone of his, to be able to say, oh yeah, it skyrocketed that much. But this country allows rich people to come up with absolute ridiculous appreciations for years. That should have been flagged a long fucking time ago that Donald Trump was buying places for 30 million and telling you it was worth 300 million. Flagged the first year he did it. Should have been. How you go 100-fold? You know what I'm saying? 1,000-fold. How do you do that? You don't. And not get flagged. Let you buy a piece of property and tell them you bought it for 300,000, you sold it for 6 million 7 months later. Your ass ain't making it. Who the hell gave you $7 million for a $3 million house, or $70 million for a $3 million house? Who did that? Oh, some Russian dude? How do you know him? Real estate agent? That shit ain't going down. But they let rich people continue to do that shit because they're doing businesses, they look the other way. They invest in this stuff, they look the other way. They give them all kind of subsidies, they look the other way. But let you do it. Hell, let your taxes come up $500 short. You got issues. They're coming up hundreds of $1 million short and not paying taxes on shit. It's insane. It really is. So there's another aspect to this delusional shit. Donald Trump is in these Epstein files thick, right? But today, I wanted you to see like how a professional, quote unquote, MAGA person rationalizes Donald Trump and these Epstein files. How he rationalizes it. How he literally is mad at Pam Bondi, but not at Donald Trump. Listen to this and we'll kind of break it down. Let's go. I got it, right? Yeah, I got it.
This portion, right now, we can't go backwards. All the other people, Bill Barr, who, by the way, his name does appear in some of these files, Merrick Garland, Bush, Obama, all of them, they all...
Hold it for a second. You see how he kind of makes it seem as though there's something kind of shady, which I agree with, that Bill Barr, he's like, although Bill Barr's name is in this kind of file. Well, his dad is the one who started this monster, gave him opportunity. But let's go back to it. He has a little like, Bill Barr does have his name in here. It's kind of off, right? Never mind the fact that Bill Barr's mentioned a few times and he's got a weird like, Donald Trump's mentioned 30,000 times and there's no to him at all. 1 million times supposedly mentioned, there's no at all. But hey, maybe he'll get there. At least he's there with Bill Barr. Let's go.
All the other people, Bill Barr, who, by the way, his name does appear in some of these files, Merrick Garland, Bush, Obama, all of them, they all failed. They all failed, which is why we reelected Donald Trump in part, to fix this problem. And now it's on your plate, Pam Bondi. You took that in by taking this job. It was Donald Trump that made sure Epstein and Maxwell were locked up in his first term, and then Bill Barr sat on all the stuff that's being hid now that's coming out. No doubt, Pam Bondi, you drew the short straw to try to uncover something hidden, like Massey said, for decades. Probably the biggest.
He skated by that again with the Bill Barr thing. How Bill Barr took it so far and then hid that shit, left it alone. He still hasn't, he's connected Barr a little bit, but it's like he was working for Trump, bruh. And Trump was in this thing a shit ton of times, sucking somebody's dick at one point. And yeah, you think Bill Barr is going to release on his little, his homie? At that time, his homie he was with? Yeah, I don't think he's going to rat him out. I doubt that. And you expected that. This dude expected that. He hasn't connected yet that Donald Trump, that was his circle that hid this shit. But let's go. And I ain't saying all the rest of them did too. They ain't say nothing. But they didn't make it an issue. Donald Trump and his minions did. And I say rightfully so. They made it an issue and ain't doing nothing about it.
Something hidden, like Massey said, for decades. Probably the biggest scandal since Watergate. But that's the job.
An example, I'm submitting these 302 forms that are entirely redacted.
You see why people like me are still thinking that this is a cover-up? A 302 form is an FBI interview with a suspect or a witness or something. Why are hundreds of them fully redacted? This is either a cover-up or it's incompetence. And I want somebody to go to jail for it. At a minimum, anybody involved with screwing this up should no longer work at the DOJ or have a law license or anything. But I think the funniest takeaway, and this is why I know Democrats are absolutely the worst, Jerry Nadler.
He's trying to make fun of Jerry Nadler being asleep, yo. And Donald Trump has been asleep a shit ton. This man, the Democrats are the worst because you caught one Republican falling asleep that's old. And you got Donald Trump in meetings where he's got to sign shit, standing up with his eye and swaying back to the left or right, shit, sitting down and just knocked out in meetings where they got cameras and the person's next to him talking about him when Marco Rubio was talking dead about Donald Trump and giving him all the credit and all this, kissing his ass and shining his boots. Donald Trump was sitting over there and he calls the Democrats the worst because he got Jerry Nadler, another, geriatric person that's fallen asleep. That makes the Democrats the worst. Jesus Christ. He's not the president. That's just funny. Oh, man, it had me laugh. And think about, listen to this dude. It's like he's remedial. It's like that person, like you try to bring along, like, yeah, keep going. Keep going. You're getting there. And then he comes up with the wrong solution. Apples. You're like, where the fuck do you get apples from? What are you talking about? You bringing it all up. And who else is mentioned in these documents that could possibly go to jail? He never gets a clue. He never gets a clue. It's crazy. He's putting everybody else under the bus and calling Democrats the worst. But this dude, it's hilarious. He's just sitting there like, I know you're not this remedial. Come on, man. Come on. You almost said it. And he just skips by it. It's like they're halfway there. They're halfway coming. You can see that the door's opening, but the lights ain't on. He's walking in the dark, but he's coming into the house at least. We got him coming to the house. Before he was scared to come, he didn't want to see Trump in it. Now he done walked in and saw Trump in it. He got his eyes closed. I'm like, open them up, bitch. They're all over the place. The demons are all over the place. Just open your eyes up and you'll see that your Lord and Orange Savior is a pedophile. And you're sitting here thinking that the pedophile is going to save you and get all the information. Woo! Still slow in the room now, in the house, but still got the lights off. It's gonna fuck them up when the lights come on. Ooh, some of them gonna be in straight jackets when the lights come on. Trust and believe.
During most of this hearing, we're screaming back and forth. He appeared to be asleep. And finally, he suddenly woke up and he asked, I think it's probably the only worthwhile question of his entire career.
How many of Epstein's co-conspirators have you indicted? How many perpetrators are you even investigating?
That was a complete sentence. Donald Trump couldn't have put that complete sentence together. He would have said 4 different sentences in just that, and they would have never made sense. But Jerry Nadler woke up and had a sense of mind. Trump doesn't when he's wide the fuck awake. But I'll move on.
First, you showed it. I find it.
How many have you indicted?
Excuse me. I'm going to answer the question.
Answer my question.
No, I'm going to answer the question the way I want to answer the question.
No,
Your
you're going to answer the
theatrics are
question the way I
ridiculous.
asked it.
Chairman Jordan, I'm not going to get in the.
Look at her. This bitch is like, can I get a lifeline? Chairman Jordan, come on, help me out. I'm a dial a friend. Chairman Jordan, come on, man, come on. You know what Donald Trump told you to say. You're supposed to protect me. Now, Chairman Jordan, they get him. Chairman Jordan, the other, like, the one who hid pedophiles and knew him. Chairman Jordan, he did it for wrestlers, kids who were wrestlers in his day, right? He was, but now he's like the head of this, and he's trying his best to referee this thing. If you watch that entire display, he was allowing her to break the House rules to protect her from answering the questions she should ask. That question was, how many people have you been charged or plan on charging? That would be 0, 7, 3. We're investigating still. Simple answer. But no, this happened with, I'm not going to deal with your antics. I'm not getting in the gutter and answering real fucking questions. Chairman Jordan, you're another pedophile that we love. You help me. Help me. I'm drowning. It's insane.
Gutter with these people.
With these people.
Yeah, you know, as much as I hate Democrats, it was a good question. And the answer is 0. This should not be a partisan issue. In America, we throw pedophiles in jail or wood chippers, period. Did we get any more answers?
Jail or wood chippers. And Trump is not in one of those yet. That's because this dude's still fucking delusional. They talk about Trump derangement syndrome. They have Trump delusional syndrome. They're sitting right next to a snake, a poisonous snake, and they kissing this bitch instead of actually saying, get away from me, you're poisonous. They are hugging the fuck out of this poisonous snake. And like I said, turn the lights on, you're going to be like, holy shit. All this, I'm just waiting for that day when the lights come on. Right now, they're in the building. But when those lights come on, man, like I said, some of them going to be in straitjackets. They ain't going to believe it. They'll believe in purple unicorns before they believe the truth.
No, we got this stupid 1-800 number. Today's hearing made this a bigger story because parts of this are still being covered up, and America is not stupid. She should have just shown up with like a list of people like, hey, here's who we're charging today. I'm hard on her because America needs Donald Trump to succeed.
Listen to him. This right here is the plea. And he's trying to get his audience to not be mad at him for going after Donald Trump's lapdog. I'm hard on her because we need Donald Trump to win. This is after I don't lit into the fucking Republican regime. I know my followers are tuning out and can't stand me. So I'm about to reel it back in a little bit and justify why I ripped her a new one. Because we want your Lord and Savior, the orange pedophile, to win. And we got to try and help him win. All the while hating pedophiles. And he's sitting here talking about, I want to win with one. For one. That's been accused of being one.
America needs Donald Trump to succeed. He does. If Donald Trump doesn't succeed, if Pam Bondi doesn't succeed, Donald Trump can't succeed. And then this country can't succeed. And this country will be finished if Democrats get their hands back on this place. The bottom line is that no one knew was in jail. The DOJ has 6 million pages of investigations and hundreds of victims and no arrests.
And like I said, he's in the room, but the lights are out. We need the pedophile to win. I'm like, you're getting close, buddy. You was getting close there. There's no charges. It's strange. Bill Barr's in these documents. You're feeling kind of weird about that, even though he worked on these documents. But he's kind of strange to you being in there. Oh, he's in some of them. Donald Trump's in a shit ton, and this dude had no understanding. I mean, what level of blindness you got to be at? I mean, even no disrespect, Stevie Wonder can see this shit. Ray Charles can see it from the grave. And they're sitting here just stepping right on the information, looking right dead at it and can't see, blind as fuck. Like, dude, it's right there. It's right the fuck there. You don't see it? Nope, don't see it. Blind to facts. Is it a fact that Donald Trump was charged with raping a 13-year-old girl and she ended up dropping the case, but she has high detailed information in it, and it was Jeffrey Epstein that hit her with a closed fist and Donald Trump hit her with an open hand, and they both raped her, and Jeffrey Epstein raped her from the back. These details. Hello. Details. Ask them what happened. Never happened. Don't know what you're talking about. One of them's dead, but don't know. I don't know nothing about it. Don't know. Never met her. And then if we find these files that we got a picture of her there, I don't know how I know her. She everybody takes pictures with me. That's what happened when you're a celebrity. At some point in time, you have to understand. And if you don't, you're just as bad, bro. I don't know how many times you have to be shown that somebody has been accused of something. One time, hey. 2 times, 36 times, details. Ooh, I'm sorry. I would not bring my kids around said man with all those damn allegations. Even if you can't prove it in court, you wouldn't bring your loved ones over. Donald, here's the thing that kills me with these people. Michael Jackson had less accusers. And these mugs would not believe that Michael Jackson was not a pedophile. They swore up and down he was. Donald Trump has more accusers than Michael Jackson has. And these people are still asking you, what are you talking about? Where's the evidence? Where's the proof? Did you see the documents? Well, they didn't prove it in court. Do they have to prove it in court? Because they didn't prove it in court for Michael Jackson, yet you still believe he's one. And he got away with it. They proved in court that what's his name? O.J. Simpson didn't kill Nicole Brown Simpson. That was proved in court, but you still believe he did it, right? So Donald Trump can't get charged with it, but you don't believe he did it? That's a different type of math you've been working on, because your math of working on people being guilty, even though in a court of law they haven't been charged with one, is kind of off. Michael, O.J., yes. Donald Trump, where's the evidence? What are you talking about? I'm like, none of them have any evidence. In fact, they went to court for it and they came out innocent, or at least not guilty. Donald Trump hasn't gone to court. His people keep disappearing. There's documentation here where people said that Donald Trump helped kill a baby. Accusations, of course. But any of us have these accusations against us? Fuck no. And where do they come from? Whew. There's video or pictures in these documents of Jeffrey Epstein torturing a girl. Picture. This girl happened to be of a darker descent. She may be black. She may be Cuban or whatever. I don't know what it is, but she's darker skinned. And she's tied up. Young lady. I don't know how old she is. He's biting the butt of a child on another one. Actual baby. Not baby, but a child like 6, 7, still baby. But it's not like a 3-month-old. It's 6-year-old, something like that. He's biting her ass. Jeffrey Epstein. Yeah. These are the people he hung out with. You're going to tell me, oh, well, we never know who we hanging out with. I'm sorry, bro. Every one of my homies I don't went out with, I know what type of girl they like. I know. There ain't no question. All my homies I don't went out with, I know what type of girl they like. So did Donald Trump. Like him on the younger side. Even though I like him young, he like him younger. Donald Trump would probably only go to 14. Epstein was doing like 5, 6-year-olds. He knew that he was messing with younger girls. And Donald Trump said so. Donald Trump literally said that he would go into these like teenage pageants of 13, 14, right? and he would walk in there when they were naked. These girls who are grown now said he did such thing, and it was so awkward that he walk in while they were naked. He bragged about it. That's pedophilia mentality, yo. And they still have like, nope, can't be him, no proof. The proof is in the pudding. He said he looked at 13-year-old girls naked. Pedophile. Point blank, period. Point blank, period. He got aroused by that. He bragged about it. He talks about his daughter in a sexual way as a child. How much do you need? You literally got to walk into the room while he's doing it. And even then, you're going to sit there and be like, well, she could possibly be 20. You just don't want to admit it. And it's your problem, your mental issue that you can't cross that barrier and get to the fact of it all. I don't know why you can't. Is it because he's white? I don't know. Because he's rich? I don't know. But you can't tell me that a person literally is doing this and you have no clue, no inkling. But yet Bill Barr's name in these documents and he's questioning it. Like, that's kind of weird. The lights come on, man. When the lights come on, that fool is going to flip out. Give you some information to switch over just a little bit. I'm going to do two more things. One is I found out about AI. And you can go do your research about it too. But AI is estimated to take over certain jobs. There's another guy, last name is Reich. I forgot his first name at the top of my head. He said there are 10 jobs. Well, they have a document. There are 10 jobs that AI will more than likely replace. So if you're in these fields, somebody said 5 to 6 years. Recent documentation said it's more like 12 to 18 months. I don't know. But if you're in these fields, please, learn more about what's going on and what type of AI may take over what you're doing and train yourself on AI so that you keep your job. Data entry clerks, telemarketers, bookkeepers, receptionists, retail cashiers, manufacturing workers. That's the big one. Manufacturing workers, that they think that's going to take over your job. I told you that the manufacturing companies ain't coming back. Not the way they talking about. AI is taking this shit over. And this shit's like, again, some people say 5 to 6. The last one that I saw said 12 to 18 months. And I believe that was the CEO of Microsoft, I want to believe. It was one of the big companies. Bank tellers, proofreaders, customer service representatives, and translators. Those apps can translate in a hot second while you're talking, automatically translate. Yeah. The a lot of these AI jobs taking over, they're bombing right now. But that's the problem. It's learning everybody. And then some of them are bombing. Some of them are excellent. It's working on them, working in the industries. But some of them are. And it's just like anything else. When you hire somebody new for a job that's never done it before, they're going to suck until they learn how to do their job. And if you keep training it, it's going to learn how to do its job. So my thing is, for anybody that is doubting tech and have this thing like, oh, this ain't working, I'm going to tell you right now, in different industries, in the entertainment industry, which I have been in for almost 30 years or whatever, don't get it twisted. Your jobs are going to be taken. It ain't no ifs, ands, or buts about it. It's whether you take it right now and move forward or sit here and stay in denial land. Because no matter what, money's king in this country. And if you get paid $100,000 and I can get an app to do what you do with a few mistakes, and then I promise the person that is going to receive said product that it may have some mistakes in it, but I'm going to charge you lesser than $80,000, whatever the fuck it is. I'm going to charge you $50 until we can get it to work. They going to do it. They're going to save money, and they're going to be like, oh, okay, we can deal with 10% of a fuck up as they continue to work on that 10%. Microsoft did it. Microsoft didn't work at the very beginning. Microsoft first came out, it was crappy, but you had never had one before. Playing with it, and you didn't know what the problems and the bugs were. They kept sending you fixes to the fucking computer system every 3 months. Oh, here's a fix. Well, they knew that problem was that way before they sold it to you. just like AI. The people on the other end of AI, they know these things are going to have problems. That's why they're investing a shit ton of money into it. So I'm like saying, don't get it twisted. These jobs are going. You're either going to be on the front end of it or the back end of it. And the back end is going to be broke. The front end, you're going to lead your new future. For the younger people, you're going to lead the new future that's coming forward. Otherwise, I mean, it's not just have a doomsday shit. I just want to tell you the facts. In the industry, when they say for I was in the entertainment industry many years ago, we had a lot of people working on the sets. We had a director, we had a producer, we had the lighting people. It was a whole lighting team. We had cameramen, shit like that. We had all that, a staff of 60, 100 people to put on one show. And then they started getting automation. And they was like, oh, it might take over 10 years. Within like 5 years, we had a skeleton crew. We had robotic cameras. Okay? We had editing machines that would just like do shit simple. None of this A/B roll and get a big ass tape, put it in a machine. None of that. It's straight computer. Made it simple. Could edit a package in minutes as opposed to taking an hour to edit. I've seen it happen. And I know many of you in your careers and your life have seen it too. So don't sleep on this AI shit. It's taking over. Determine how you are going to play in this role. If you're older and it's like, I'm retired, I ain't going to have to deal with it, fine. But if it's your kids, grandkids, you better get on them. Better get on them. They're going to get left behind. And that's the worst thing to be, 20-some years old and at the back of the line. Just saying. Just saying. Yeah, with rolling blackouts, yeah, I mean, that's going to happen. That's going to happen. But again, these things are going to fix themselves. It's not going to be like that forever. I'm telling you, it's not going to be like that forever. I think a lot of people are doubting systems because of the first problems. When we first had computers, you know how many people said it's never going to be in your home? We wouldn't be able to do it. We wouldn't be able to do the electric grid to be able to have this. When they said they're going to go to fiber, man, they ain't going to never get fiber together. No way in hell. No, we're going to be on cable forever. No fiber. No fiber. Fiber took over. Blockbuster. Nah, man, ain't nobody going to want no movies in their house. What you talking about? You love going to the theater, getting popcorn and candy. Where the fuck is Blockbuster? Don't get it twisted. There are problems in every industry, but it's changing. And like I said, you're either on the front end or the back end. It's just that simple. People don't go to work in VR. Yeah, I don't know. But anyway, that right there, one little happy thing at the end, and somewhat happy. If I can get it up, there you go. They did a poll, and I forgot who was by. Who was it by? Oh, it was a YouGov poll. Respectable unit. Of who better represents America. Y'all, when I saw this, I laughed my ass off. Who represents America better? Bad Bunny beat out Trump. I know he peed his pants when he saw this shit. Polls are terrible. Polls are bad. Who listens to polls? Obviously, people who took them. YouGov, Bad Bunny, beating Donald Trump by 3 points. MAGA must be crazy right now if they saw this. Crazy. And I'm happy, though. Bad Bunny, man, wish you nothing but success and happiness and joy. You talk about love all the time, so I respect your music. I do not speak Latin or Spanish or any language other than English, and I know a little bit of not every language, a little bit of a few languages. Mostly, you know how they do. They teach us the cuss words and shit like that. And you be saying that all around. My friends Latin be teaching me the cuss words. Like, man, teach me something else, like how to order something. But it is what it is. So Bad Bunny wins out the week. Donald Trump's gonna be stewing in this shit all weekend. I'm surprised he might have something put up later on today, or tomorrow, this weekend, being pissed off like that's bad, it's bad. Other than that, ladies and gentlemen, love y'all. I'm going to see y'all. I got to go do the other show here, music. But you guys have a great weekend. I'll be back here on Monday doing the same thing, bringing you some facts. And dig in deep about this Jeffrey Epstein, because we got to find out, at least for me, I feel like we got to find out who else is in this that we have that our government has to investigate. We're not just going to let this go. And if you think we are, Donald Trump and you MAGA minions who are trying to protect them like Pam Bondi and Dan Bongino and Cockeyed Cash Patel, you got another thing coming. All right? You guys have a great night, great weekend, and I'll see you on Monday. All right? Y'all take care. Much love.